My name is John.com. Welcome to another review video, and today's review is for the Bell Qualifier DLX MIPS edition. And I have a lot of good things to say, a few bad things, and at the end of the video I am going to answer the question, would I buy this helmet again? So stay tuned.
Nice pants. Nice pants. Nice pants. Those are nice pants.
Now the first thing that I want to point out is that this is the Bell Qualifier DLX. And there is a big difference between the DLX edition versus the standard edition of the Bell Qualifier. Now first I'd like to go over what I do like about this helmet before I start talking about what I don't. And the number one thing that drew me to this helmet is the face shield that comes with the Qualifier DLX. And that is because it is photochromatic. So that means it transitions. In the daytime it is dark, and at nighttime it is clear. So you only have to worry about one shield when it comes to the photochromatic transition shield. So that is one thing that the Qualifier DLX has over the standard Qualifier, is that the photochromatic shield automatically comes with the DLX edition. The second thing that comes with the DLX edition is the cutout right here for a Senna or the Cardo pack. One thing to note though, if you do buy the helmet specifically for the Senna or the Cardo pack, you are going to have to buy a different mount that's specifically made for this helmet. It goes on the inside, so as you can see, it's nice and seamless on the outside. So those are the two biggest things that I like about this helmet. The specific cutout for the Senna, so it's nice and clean on the outside, and of course, the photochromatic shield is very important to me, at least. Another good thing about the Bell Qualifier is that there are many graphic options when it comes to this helmet. If you watch some of my other videos, you know that I'm a fan of black and matte black, so obviously I had to go with a matte black with white accents. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about that drew me into the Qualifier DLX, I had to remove the cheek pads and the comfort liner to show you, but on the inside of the helmet at the very top, you see that yellow piece of hard plastic, that's called MIPS, and it stands for Multi-Directional Impact Protection System. And what that means is, of course, all helmets are going to protect you against the blunt force, but the MIPS is more of a rotational sort of protection system, okay? So anything that slows your brain down from, just sloshing around inside of your skull, I'm all for. Okay, so you've heard me talk about all the good things that I like about this helmet, and now it's time to talk about the few things that I don't like about this helmet. And the first thing is that the styling is really just mediocre. It's kind of just average. There's really nothing special about the design of this helmet. I mean, it's not a bad looking helmet, it's just really nothing special. The next thing that really bothered me about this helmet is that the first detent on the face shield is way too far, okay? It shouldn't open almost a quarter of the way for the first detent. In addition, there's really only one detent, and that is completely open. So it's either completely open, cracked about an inch or two, and then just shut all the way. Okay, so I bet you're wondering why I introduced another helmet here. This is the Shoei RF1200, and I brought it up here because I wanted you to know where I'm getting my opinions from when I compared this helmet to what I consider to be the gold standard for an all-around street helmet. Now I do want to note that I bought this photochromatic shield for the Shoei RF1200 separately, and the Bell Qualifier DLX comes with the photochromatic shield. So both of these helmets have the photochromatic shield. So I want to talk about build quality, and the Bell Qualifier DLX I feel falls a little bit on the cheap side. And the reason why I say that is because as you see this helmet, the Bell Qualifier DLX with MIPS with the Rally graphic costs about $269, okay? The photochromatic shield for the Shoei RF1200 is $200. So you're really talking about a $69 difference between just the photochromatic shield on this helmet and this entire helmet as it sits. So it almost begs the question, am I paying $69 for this helmet? Now I want to talk about what bothers me the most about this helmet. And before I bought it, I read a lot of reviews and I watched a lot of review videos. And a lot of people were saying that this helmet is relatively noisy in regards to wind noise. And before buying this, I rode with the Icon variant, which I considered to be relatively noisy. So I thought to myself, transitioning from the variant to the Qualifier DLX really isn't going to be that big of a difference, but boy was I wrong. So if you are a rider that rides with earplugs, that's probably not going to be that big of a deal to you. Now, like I said, I consider the Shoei RF1200 to be the gold standard for an all-around street helmet. So once again, I'm going to compare the Qualifier DLX to the Shoei in regards to wind noise. And if we're putting it on a scale, 0 being the quietest and 10 being the loudest, I would say the Shoei is creeping in at maybe like 2, and I would say the Qualifier DLX is up around 8. And what I would compare it to is if you were on the New York State Thruway heading in at about 75 miles an hour and you just roll the windows down, that's what this sounds like. And that's really a shame because this helmet is almost built around a comm system. So what I had to do when I was riding with other riders, I had to have my Bluetooth turned all the way up, which pretty much muffled the person that I was talking to, and I could barely hear them over the wind as it was. So with a muffled voice, it just made it all that much more harder to hear them. Now, if you wanted to buy the Bell Qualifier, not the DLX, with the cutout for the Bluetooth, without the photochromatic shield, I believe it is somewhere around $100 less than the DLX MIPS edition. So like I said, you're buying a relatively cheap helmet compared to a Shoei, for example. Now, to answer the question, would I buy this helmet again, knowing what I know, owning it for the time that I have? But before I do answer that, I want to recap what we've gone over. Now, the first thing that I liked about the DLX edition of the Qualifier is that it comes standard with the photochromatic shield, which again transitions from dark in the daytime to clear at nighttime, so you only have to worry about one shield, so no more riding with a smoke shield at nighttime. The next thing that I liked about this helmet is the specific cutout for the Sena Bluetooth, which again, just to remind you, it does require a specific bracket that is specifically made for this helmet, so it's something else that you'll have to buy in addition to the helmet itself. In addition to the cutout for the comm unit itself, it also has speaker cutouts on the inside as well. Another thing that I liked about this helmet is there are many graphic options. I chose the rally option. Lastly, if you remember, I talked a little bit about MIPS, and that is the multi-directional impact protection system. Any technology that you can add to a helmet that will further protect your skull and your brain, I'm all for. Now, like I said, the negatives of this helmet, the design, I'm really not all that impressed with. It's mediocre at best, it's somewhat average. The next thing that I mentioned was the first detent on the face shield is way too much. And lastly, the thing that bothers me the most about this helmet is how noisy it is when it comes to wind noise. I compared it to rolling down the New York State Thruway at 75 with your windows open. It's ridiculous. So to answer the question, would I buy this helmet again for $269? Knowing what I know, ridden the number of miles that I've ridden it with, I would truthfully have to say no. Save your money, buy something with a better build quality, a much quieter helmet like the Shoei RF1200 here, and I think you'll be much happier. As for me, I'm probably going to utilize this as an off-road helmet because anything over 40 miles an hour, the wind noise is borderline unbearable. So anytime that I decide to go off-road with the Grom, I'm probably going to be wearing this. And that's going to conclude my user review video of the Bell Qualifier DLX edition with MIPS. If you have any questions that I didn't answer, please feel free to leave them in the comments section below. Go ahead and hit that like button if the video helped you out in any way. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for more motorcycle related content. As always, I want to thank you so much for watching. I, of course, am John.com, and I'll see you in the next video.